Yo, what is up, my Perrim people? It is your boy JadeJonny back in Chaotic, and let me just start off by saying, right, like, we know that this show isn't coming back. Okay, like, in case you guys don't know, Rod has done a lot of interviews with Brian Gannon, and we know that the show isn't going to be coming back whenever the card game comes back. But we also know that the card game essentially follows the the Chaotic Bible, and the Chaotic Bible follows the show. So I want to take a second and look at what could possibly happen where we're following the Chaotic Bible still, right? But also not overlapping with the show. So, because the show basically promotes the new sets of cards. Whenever the Marillions came out, we entered the Marillion Invasion arc. Whenever whenever we went to the Secret City, that's when we started seeing all of the God, lore. Oh my God, I just forgot his name, and then I was like, oh yeah. But we started seeing lore, Copond, and the other High Muges whenever we entered the High Muge arc, right? So. My thing is, right, what could we possibly do? And as you guys can see on the screen, I've already figured out, what we could possibly do. But what could we possibly do before Chaotix, comes back in full that would also allow us to continue to play Chaotic without messing up the lore? That sounded right in my head. I don't think that sounded right out loud, though. But what can we do without messing with Chaotix lore and throwing off the timing of new set releases? And I think the most important thing that we could do is re-releases. I don't think that we should re-release cards in the versions like this, right? I mean, we shouldn't get a new first edition Dawn of Perrim pack. I don't think that's something we should do. However, though, I do think that what we should do is get eroded versions of the cards inside the packs, right? Release Dawn of Perrim version 2. Obviously, it can't be first ed. Don't do a first ed thing. Don't even act like it's first ed because it's just going to cause confusion. Do Dawn of Perrim version 2 or rebooted or reloaded or whatever you want to call it. Rescanned. Yeah, Dawn of Perrim rescanned, right? And start balancing the cards in Dawn of Perrim. We have cards like Chaor, which cost 3 music to essentially do nothing. You have cards like Ulmar, which are You have Tenga Toborn, which has super low energy. Honestly, just rebalance the stats of the cards, rework their abilities so that they're more relevant in the wider competitive pool, and do that as you're building up to where we can catch up with the Chaotic Bible, right? Whenever the show gets to come out, and we're looking at sets sets 5 and 6 on, you're looking at Fire and Ice and stuff like that, right? You could just functionally errata everything to where it's a more balanced gameplay of standard. Remove Zul, to switch some wool, switch his effect off, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. It's a 150. I'm gonna look at this later because I'm curious. How is a Dawn of Perrim pack $1.50? I want to know later. But yeah. So my point being, we could just do functional erratas, and I think that's a really great way that they can reintroduce the game. I mean, $28 for a starter deck isn't that bad in modern day, right? That's not that bad. Then you come over here to the Overworld one, $43. That's just insane. That's outright. That's outrageous. Come over here, 44 to 45 to 80. I have no idea what that could possibly be. We come down here, $60, $28. You have $20 per single booster pack. I mean, the game isn't as affordable as it should be. I mean, Von Blute for 40, that makes sense. But then you have Chaor for 100, right? Even if it is max speed, that's still a lot for one card that's not even relevant in the meta for the most part, right? So my point being, I think if Ganon wanted to reintroduce Chaotic and still follow the Chaotic Bible, I think the best place to do is to release a functional reprint of Dawn of Perrim and on. Obviously, what's the card? Oh my God. Droskin. That's what the card is. That's what the card is. I'm scared to search this. I might have to black out the screen because I don't know what's gonna pop up. Okay, Droskin didn't even pop up. Well, there's only 10 that are known to exist, that are confirmed to exist right now, right? For Droskin, I think is what it's currently at, right? And I don't and I mean, like, we could, that's like a year's worth of sets essentially. I mean, like, we have like 4 or 5 sets of chaotic, right? And I mean, if we release, like, those all rebalanced, we release infect with its new wording. We release, where it like uses a token instead of just infected creature, or where I mean, like, you get what I'm saying, right? Like, where they count as being part of the hive, or they count as a Danian on the board for your hive effects and stuff like that, right? So that's kind of what I'm getting at. I think that would be the best way to go about it. If, like, Ganon were to, like, restart publishing stuff about chaotic, I think that's the best way to start would be redo Dawn of Perrim, balance the cards for a modern day environment. I mean, there's a lot of cards that just don't do anything. I mean, like, look at Chaor, right? I mean, if we put him in, like, modern day relevancy, he's not that great, right? Look at Lord Von Blute, one of the most unbalanced cards ever. I mean, I mean, oh my god. But I mean, like, I mean, look at this, right? He turns off, I mean, he just is like Intimidate 10 energy. I mean, and there's no downside to it. It's just Earth, and he still has 2 music counters. I mean, like, you can remove the music counters from there, right? And, I'm just saying, right? Tengeto Warren has like a highest scan HP of 45. I mean, yeah, he's one of the strongest units in the game, in lore, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of wild that he has like such a weak ability, and I mean, such a weak energy stat. I mean, I think there's a lot of like balancing that could be redone around it, and it also would bring down the prices of chaotic. I mean, if we get another second wave of starter deck. If we get a second wave of Dawn of Perrim, and then Chaor will drop from $100. We could look at like a $50 card. If we get a more balanced version of Lord One Blue, I mean, it could be a $20 rare. I mean, I think that that's one of the best things you could do. I think that's in all reality a good way to go about it. I also think do try and be more transparent about like how many max versions of cards exist. But what do you guys think? Is this a good idea for how chaotic could still not still follow the chaotic timeline, or the chaotic Bible timeline, while it's waiting on the show to be greenlit, or while it's waiting on the show to find animators or whatnot, right? Do you think this is a good way to do it? Do you guys think that this is a great idea, or do you think that your collections would lose a lot of value and that would really upset you? I think a lot of older cards would still retain their value, because I mean, functional errata doesn't, decrease the first edition 20-year-old card that you own. I think, I think that the newer versions would have a lower price point, but I think the older ones would still retain their price points, especially if they're, PSA graded or whatnot, right? I think those would still retain their price points. But tell me what you guys think down in the comment section down below. I think that this is the best way to go about it. I think that, we want to stay with the chaotic timeline, or the chaotic Bible timeline, right? I don't think that we want to see the Frozen end card version whenever we're still waiting on the Frozen on the show. I think that would mess with the lore. I think it'd be best suited to, get the DOP reprints with the updated cards. I think that's the best thing that could be done. But, again, I'm one guy in the Underworld of Perrim, so what do I know? But what do you know? What do you guys think? I mean, that's, what I have to say. So tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below, and I will be seeing you guys later with another chaotic video. Let's port to Perrim.